You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. Continuing on at Asshole Consulting. Hey, Aaron, got a video for you. Had a female friend ask a question recently on dating during a discussion. She was asking if guys are getting off the dating apps, where will they go? Will they start going back to nightclubs? I couldn't give her an answer because I'm at a loss as to where it's okay for us men to approach. Myself, I mean, I told you the meetup group story. I remember. Can't ask girls out. I do survey the meetup groups because I want to find something to do. And a couple of them, this is not a place to meet women. Okay, fine. Fine. Oh my God, white people aren't showing up to meetup groups. I doubt men will go back to the nightclubs. I certainly won't be. That's if you could find one that's open. My main question is, with some of the political 180, even some women going, oh, hey, we'd like to get asked out in person, actually. I think that's on the internet. I think that's a lot of theater and clickbait stuff. I do believe if it was the polling, let's use science as scientific reliable as polling can be. 3 out of 4 women are okay with men asking them out in public. I think this was Chris Williamson data that he quoted. 1 in 4 are not. Now, a lot of you may run out and say, see, the majority of women are okay with it. Right. Okay. But now there's a 1 in 4 chance you're going to offend or piss someone off. Right. And I mean, what are the risks that are associated with it? Not a lot. You're just going to offend somebody. But you got to think about that. Well, 1 in 4, you're going to kind of be pissed off. Yeah, it's the divorce that, 45% of marriages end in divorce, and everyone, see, the majority of it's like, or the better one, God, now don't quote me on this. If you are Christian and you have a college degree, was that it? Maybe if you're just religious. I forgot there was definitely a Christian angle. It was like if you attended church regularly, like a certain frequency, your chances of divorce went down to something like 25%. So I'm like, okay, so still worse than Russian roulette. Like that's not a selling point. It dropped like a third or 20, some 1 in 5 at best. You're like, wait, what? No. Hey, if you get in your car, there's only a 20% chance you get a crippling accident. I guess I'm taking the bus. Yes, and this is unfortunate for you girls. I know the majority of you would like to be asked out, especially by a good-looking guy. Most of you are okay with that, but there's a significant minority where it's like, oh, geez, that's very impolite. It's not even a fear of rejection. It's like, well, I don't want to piss off 1 in 4 women. Dating. I doubt men will go back to nightclubs. I certainly won't be. With the 180, women going, oh, hey, we'd like to be asked out in person, actually. How does this evolve? I still don't think most women have the capacity to be approached days like time pass. I will go with you on that. That's just a hunch I have. The younger you're going to get, I think the more politically inappropriate or socially inappropriate it is to ask a girl out. Not because there's actually anything wrong with asking a girl out in public. They're not used to it. It's very odd. It's socially jarring. You're still going to have to do it, guys. I'm sorry. They'll giggle or be really shy or awkward, but I mean, I don't know what. There's really no other way to do it. I still don't think most women have the capacity to approach in today like times past. Tons of people have never been approached. And let's be, dude, Reen, you gotta use punctuation, man. I'm charging you more next time you do this to me. Let's be honest, the 20-somethings probably don't even have the approach skills of high schoolers in the 90s. So even if we get rid of dating apps, I don't think you're going to see a large return of pickup game. Neither side has the social skills to do it. I agree. Also, too many people saw the curtain pulled back at this point, I think, with the dating apps and the data. Agreed. I'm having a hard time arguing if we just don't go back to buying women like the olden days, 70% sarcasm, but still 30% there, huh? I think we got to start spanking our wives again like McClintock did. I think, 70% sarcasm, 30% true. since they just make material demands now. Lastly, as a Christian man, even if we go back and women want to date, the end goal of marriage still seems impossible. There's been no change in the laws. Well, let's just stick with asking girls out. Marriage is a completely different ball of wax. I know you as a Christian man inevitably be to the point of getting marriage, and that provides a deterring effect all the way up the, what would you call it, supply chain of marriage, where you start with asking a girl, "Oh, well, I want to get married." So, if you're a Christian, like, why? And we had the divorce Olympics, and I'd argue the boomer women were much better prospect than millennials and Gen Z. Anyway, just a personal anecdote that had me thinking, especially after the marriage benefits video you did. My pastor talks about how great divorce has gone up massively. Oh, they're gonna the boomers gotta make their dent in the world. They gotta be the best divorce generation ever. So the boomer divorce Olympics may still be going on. Gray divorce may also be a topic worth discussing. Now, that's like people are landing at Omaha Beach and saying, "What are you going to order when we get to Berlin?" That's so far down the road. P.S. Might send this to her if you have any places you recommend women. Look, okay, I got that. For you women, I'm going to recommend the Cigar Lounge. That's where wealthy, cultured men are going, especially if you're a black woman. Or I guess you're any woman looking for a black guy. You want an established, polished, cultured black gentleman? Cigar Lounge. That's where they're at. I don't like cigars. Well, then be a fucking dying alone spinster shrew. I don't care anymore. I gave you the answer. There's the answer. Take it or leave it. So there's one. I don't know. Maybe I'll give some women some advice. Do we really want to waste our breath? Do I want to waste my time and my audience time telling women how to find men? Do we really want to waste our time with this? All right. So where are the men going to go in a post-dating app world? So let's go through everything that has happened. I was going to say in the past 20 years, but you could say since online dating. I'm going to go back to baby boomer divorce. Let's look at what the 18 to 35-year-olds, right? Your marriageable women age. Well, am you saying a woman who's 36 isn't marriageable? Not to the youngins, they ain't. But do you see? It says I'm an expert. What expert am I now? I'm a dating expert. You see that? Dating expert. Shush. The dating expert is talking now. You listen, take notes, obey. Where'd my notes go? All right. Let's go over everything that both men and women from 18 to 35 are facing right about now. All right. First, especially the men, because you want to know where the men are going. The internet has really exposed the empirical interest women have in men. All right. Before the internet, you weren't able to corroborate and confirm, is it really this bad? You had to do the thing. Oh, is society wrong, or is the individual wrong? Obviously the individual is wrong. I have to change myself because society couldn't possibly be wrong. The internet has gotten rid of that. Now we've seen whether it's articles written in Miss Magazine or the stuff going on campuses or all the social media more recently. I would say that's more sensational in media. I would say more empirically, if you allow me to pat myself on the back, the works of me, Rollo, Rich Cooper, Ryan Stone, all the other, the old school, Roosh, mystery. It's no longer a mystery. We can pretty much say women are only fractionally interested in men as much as men are interested in women, whereas pre-internet, men operate from the erroneous assumption that women had equivalent interest in men. They just played a different hard-to-get game. All right? So now we know women just aren't that interested in guys. They are interested, some, and if you're the right guy, they're interested plenty. But generally speaking, their interest is nowhere near as much as we thought it would be. So that's already a deterring effect for men asking out girls. Then you have the online dating apps, which you mentioned before, where perhaps in the olden days there was some success. But now, especially when you looked at Tinder analytics, or men's just personal experiences, you're swiping literally 10,000 times to get yourself single digit amounts of dates. And we're not talking 9s and 8. We're talking you get 3 or 4 dates. At one time, I think at peak dating app, men and women were wasting 90 minutes a day on dating apps. That has gone down now. As I've said before, you can't have a dating app without dates. And since there are no dates, there was, at one time there might have been dates. Now it's not. So how much of that is dating app companies manipulating algorithms, trying to maximize profits, That is a discussion to be had, and it is germane. But the experience men have had has been a reconfirmation of what they see on the internet is women are just really not that interested in you. You can say, but it's online. It's like, you're right. But that has informed men's opinions, and that's why they're abandoning dating apps. And what a lot of men are going to pull from that is all women aren't that interested, not just the online ones. See what I'm saying? There's also the online dating statistics, whether it was OkCupid with the ratings. There's some fascinating data came out with online dating statistics, all which points to women just aren't that interested in guys. So that further deterred it. Also, you have ever intensifying sex war online, which has been going on probably 15 years now, certainly 10. And there's all these online resources and online data, and you get to see this, you get to see that. How much of it is British tabloid bullshit? How much of it is real? You got advents like Fresh and Fit, the Whatever podcast. You had Kevin Samuels. People are starting to see, women are speaking forth. You say, well, that's the internet. It's all fake. Well, then the real world better get with it. Show me the empirical evidence of the real world where you're seeing women just, it'd be one thing. You see the sex war online, but in the real world, girls are still making you cookies or being nice, or you ask a girl out. She says yes. In the real world, you go on a campus, it's like 5 in every 2 women are SA'd because there's a grapist and a raisinist behind every tree. So both analog, in person, and online, it's toxic. So that's further informed men's opinions about what their prospects of getting a date are. Adding fuel to the fire, I will say this is fake. The what I call the bad girls of TikTok, and on the fun way bad girls, but like that idiot, like, I'm gonna try and sleep with 1,000 men, tee-hee. And like, oh my God, men are such pig. That purposely propagandist clickbait. Oh, Butte Nacoco. Not for a second do I believe that woman is true. Not for a second do I believe she's just doing that to be provocative and get clicks. Oh, I can't end the one. My eggs are frozen. Bullshit. You just did that to get clicks. Nyla, the redheaded monster, clicks. But again, you and I might know that's all fake. But the average guy, oh my God, look at it. They're all, what was it, Bathsheba? Jezebel? Who was the bad one? They're all a bunch of cures. And I've said that's not real women. Don't let those women ruin the reputation of normal women. Well, I could say that. Most guys are like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna. I wonder what percent of men like actually think those TikTok girls are. For the while, I thought it was real, and then I realized, oh, it's a money-making operation. I get it now. How many guys don't know it's professional wrestling? Leaving the internet, there's other things happening in the real world that are just going to prevent men from asking girls out, even in a post-dating app world. Men and women are uglier. Women are not physically attractive anymore. And I guess it kind of results in a paradox or skewing effect where most guys are not physically attracted to most women because they're just not that attractive. But then if you find a girl who's attractive, she's probably flooded with so much attention. She's got very much I wouldn't say an attitude, but she's annoyed with the amount of junk mail she's getting in her inbox. She probably can get a really good looking guy, not a guy who in times past would have been her traditional attractive equivalent. Um, so there's, yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm not dead. I kind of look. I remember I would do a lot of this in the 80s and the 90s, even the aughts, and now I don't. I really don't. I figure what, like, oh my god, my eyes go wider than my head turns. It was like, wow, you're well put together. There was one gal. Where was it? It was at the Menards in Rapid City. I don't know if she's come from church or what. And she was a very attractive woman, but was more shocking is she had a nice dress on. It wasn't a flashy dress, but she was put together. And I mean, just don't see that. Um, but yeah, that's a big deterrent. Uh, there's just not that many good looking gals, and the ones that are, I mean, you can go ahead and ask, and you should, you absolutely should. Um, but I think the average man are gonna be like, oh, she's way. He could be an 8, she could be a 7. The fact she's a 7 and not overweight, he's like, wow, she's out of my league. And your logic isn't wrong. You should still ask her out, but your logic isn't wrong. There is measurably lower testosterone in men. I've covered that in my book, How Not to Become a Millennial. And without the power of the gods or the juice of the gods, guys just aren't as genetically or biologically motivated to ask girls out. I mean, I know it was annoying for girls of my generation to have all those horny 18, 19-year-old boys asking you out. But now go talk to women my age who are 50 and the men are 50, 55. And then it's like, I don't know. Well, hey, whoo, it's 8 p.m. Time to go to bed. So yeah, there's the lower testosterone is biophysiologically driving men away. Even more than that, I would say Nebraska. They grow corn in Nebraska. This rhymes with corn. Okay. So I call it Nebraska. Nebraska is definitely keeping men away from women. In the olden days, if you want to see Nebraska, it would be a magazine. It would be rare. And you could literally, like a Playboy magazine, you could cut that out and use it as currency. Now it's all over the place. And men are becoming pretty good economists. And I can't fault their math on this either. To go out and get laid back when I was a young man, you're looking at, oh, what was it? Have to do the math again. Was it 1 in 10? It was 1 in 10 girls that you dated. That doesn't mean first dates. You'd have to go out with 10 girls, one of which would have to get to about the third or fourth day. There's a tremendous amount of resources and time that goes into getting laid. Or you could be done in 5 minutes and then get on with your day, go work, go hang out with the boys or whatever. And then do the cost benefit analysis and say, I got to do what? Nah. Hey, look, here's a cute gal on the internet, and now you're done. And that is definitely I will agree there. That is definitely keeping men home. Then you have the legal and socially or illegal, I guess, and socially criminal horror stories. What I mean by socially criminal, it's not illegal, but whatever you put on blast, you're embarrassed. For example, I guess it got out that Destiny and Laren Southern had a fling. Okay, so what? They had a fling. I don't even think the two were married at that point in time, but now it's embarrassing. Now she didn't put them on blast. Right? Somehow this just got out. Everyone loves to see somebody trip and fall. Everybody loves it. And whether it's a guy asking a girl out, which is usually done over the internet now. So she'll do the screenshot and teehee, oh my God, look, Bobby in calculus asked me out. What a square, what a nerd, and a little social punishment there, I guess, a little social shame. But legally, you got, and thank God it's exceptionally rare, but the fact it exists, where what is it? The Duke lacrosse team gal, she came out and admit she falsely accused him of all that. Shock, I know. The University of Virginia. There's several, mattress girl. All these false accusations. Even I've had where I told you guys a story. You don't think, oh no, that's just crazy talk. They're crazy. That's exceptionally rare. There was one gal, everything was consensual. We didn't even have sex. And then I think a week or two later, I show up and there's everyone that I was hanging out with that night, including the gal. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? And they all gave me the stink eye. I'm like, well, that was weird. That's just weird. I thought we are all having a good time. What's going on? And I'm like, I wonder if she told them, like, oh yeah, well, he did that. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, wait, no, you're okay with it. And then I remember, time I was working security, one of my friends claimed that she was aggressed upon, and then I played fucking hero. I was in my uniform, and I caught the bad guy. I was a good boy. And then in hindsight, with older eyes, I'm like, wait a minute, what made me think she wasn't lying? Why didn't she go directly to the cops? Why did we have to pull that out of her? What if that guy was innocent? Like, oh shit. Guys, I still feel bad about it to this day. um, you don't need a lot of those stories. Or you get dragged into HR because you asked Becky out in accounting. I know a couple guys who I don't know why they were asking girls out. One guy even asked the girl, he's like, hey, I got tickets to this thing. My department can't use it. Do you want it? That got him in trouble. Like, fuck this shit. And I do believe the younger you are, you got to worry about that a little bit more. So and certainly women are right. Well, that's an exceptionally rare and few. Yes, it is exceptionally rare and few. But when it comes, I mean, what did they do to Daniel Penny? Shall I invoke his name? Daniel Penny. It's not that it's exceptionally rare and few. It's that there are such tremendous consequences to that. And guys, so and you're right, Reen. You say, well, what was it? Men can't ask women out. Yeah, there's likely a social taboo in asking girls out in public under a certain age because they're not socially accustomed to that. That's not what their generation does. Okay, so that venue of asking girls out is increasingly frowned upon, maybe, or men are less likely to ask girls out in public. Well, in the olden days, you could have asked a girl at one time. 1 in 5 couples met at work. That's a great place to meet someone. Why? Because you both got jobs. You're both more financially responsible than people at I don't know, at the rehab center. You are in the same field of interest, so there's a chance you have a similar intellectual pursuit, you have a shared intellectual or professional interest. Why would you girls want a guy who's gainfully employed and works in a field you're interested in? Oh my God. So then guys lose their livelihood. You lose your job. Well, that doesn't happen. Well, yeah, but it does. And I can't, for all it takes is one head on a pike to deter some, maybe we don't invade this village with all those heads on the pikes, huh? Maybe we go to the next village over where there ain't no heads on pikes. Maybe we just leave these people alone. It just takes one crucified body to make maybe we don't ask these girls out. We'll just go away because I like having my job. So those legal stories or the social horror stories where it's socially criminal, not legally criminal, but socially criminal. There's that. Also, women just aren't that interested in marriage. I know we're focusing on the guys and whatever hurdles and I'm not really, but this is true. I think women's interest in marriage has gone down. You can go get my book not behind the housing crash. The book of numbers analyzing the ROI in the pursuit of women. And there's polling data, the Pew, that shows when they poll women, they are more interested. Men, depending on the age cohort, are roughly 5th or 7th, depending which age cohort you're looking at. Let's just call it 6th. And women between 18, I believe it was to 35. The number one things are career, education, finances, children. Outrank men. They rather have children than have a guy. And then what was the 5th one? Travel? I think travel might have actually been, that'd be the younger cohort. In any case, and you got the corroborating study of, was it Rise of the She Economy? They're not, and that's fine. It's their lives, their right. Yeah, if girls aren't interested, they're not interested. But you would say the premise is there's a bunch of girls waiting for men to ask them out because online dating is over, and your friend seems to be with like a gal who wants to have a guy ask her out. Well, sure, maybe she does, but the trend seems to be more and more women are just not that interested in men, by association of their lack of interest in marriage and their reprioritization of life goals. And then finally, and this is kind of the mortar that puts all the bricks together. This is a very important one. In the dwindling number of instances, men ask women out. Women are still shooting men down in the majority of the cases, which it's always been that way. The majority of women have never been interested in the majority of men. That goes back that goes back to Roman times. All right. This goes back to when me and Rolo were young guys. I was in middle school, he was in high school, and Pontius Pilate was doing something with the 95 Theses. I know I butchered it. Please don't correct me down below. I'm aware. So it was the standard to get rejected. And I mean, 1 in 5 times you ask a girl out, you would actually end up on a date. Majority of women would say yes, but a significant percentage would flake. So 1 in 5 chance was the chances you'd actually end up on a date. Not bad, right? But if you're shut down 4 out of 5 times in the backdrop of everything that I've just mentioned before, that you see online, that you see in media, you see on college campuses and all that, especially with the shriek, I haven't even mentioned feminism, with the shrieking from the fucking media and feminists, men are evil and they're patriarchal, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to take more than 3 or 4 times for guys to say, yeah, this isn't working. And the tragedy about that is maybe women in person are still the same. They will say yes to 1 in 5, or 1 in 5 guys that ask them out. They are interested in, which is normal. Girls got a screen, and we don't waste your time. But all that does, which would be normal, a normal healthy rejection rate of 80%. All that does is confirm everything online, in the media, everything guys see and hear. It's like, yeah, girls really don't like men that much. And so in their world, in their eyes, it's confirmed. That's proof. And then I think it's another Chris Williamson statistic. It was something like half of men under 27 didn't ask out a girl in the past 2 years. I mean, however valid that research was, but I'm just going to assume it's pointing in the right direction at least. Yeah, guys are not asking girls out because of all the negativity that is out there, whether it's media, in-person experience, or online dating, YouTube, whatever. You ask out Susie Q, and she says no. I mean, even I'm watching my buddy, the Great One, and I have inquired with some gals like, oh, she's cute. I should see if she's single. I'm like, hey, are you single? I got a buddy. You might want to meet him. Never resulted in a date. So I guess by that quasi delving into the world of dating, it's like, man, you're still rejecting guys. Like, okay. So yeah, and then the little Jimmy builds up the courage to go ask out little Susie. Susie genuinely is an interested, or maybe she actually does have a boyfriend. She says no. Jimmy does that 3 or 4 times. Like, yeah, this isn't. Not every guy can be Troy Francis. Not every guy can be me back in the 90s and the odds where you're asking out multiple girls every week. It just, a lot of guys like, and if for any other reason, they don't want to bother you. They don't want to be impolite. This whole thing, well, men are afraid of rejection. It's like, yeah, okay. I think it's they don't want to bother you. They don't want to be impolite. And so you say, well, where are men going to go? But if there's no dating apps, well, I don't think they're going to. Well, we already have the answer. They're not. Currently, they're not asking out women in public. Some of you women may rejoice about that. Some of you may rue or lament that. So then where are they going to go? All right, there's only two places I can figure out where they're going to go. They're not going to the nightclubs. They don't have the money. And I think the internet has exposed nightclubs to be a tremendous, colossal waste of time. I think the nightclub is dead. Thank God. You guys can do so much more with your time and your life and the money than the nightclub. I think really about the only place men are going to be asking girls out is going to be social media, not dating apps, social media, whether it's Instagram, that seems to be the main one, Facebook, I guess if you're old, I don't know, other like Telegram or Snapchat or whatever. I'm not aware. I'm not young. I don't know where the kids all ask each other out, but I believe it'll be on social media. They'll get to know people digitally. There'll be a cute girl in the discussion room. Oh, hey, do you live in my area? Cool. Oh, I see you like whatever Reddit group they're on. You like Dungeons and Dragons. Do you want to meet up and play Dungeons and Dragons at the local comic shop? And that's how it's going to happen. Or frankly, they're going to go home. And that's where increasingly more men are staying. I mean, that's true. They're at home, jerking off to Nebraska, or playing video games, or living with their parents, or just not going outside. I always wondered that. I didn't know where, but I always wondered, you go to a sausage fest and you be in your young 20s, like, well, where are all the girls? There was always a deficit of girls. I always wondered, where did they go? Did they go into the void? Where are they? I never knew. And I still to this day, were they at home? Were they out with the 30-year-old with a boat? What was going on? I had no idea. And it might be the same now. I speculate they're just home and couldn't be bothered. I think it's going to be the same with guys. I think guys are at home. They don't have the fuel. They don't have the testosterone. Why would they go out? I also don't think the young men today have the energy to go out. Like, go out, hey, let's go nightclub and let's go walk around. Let's just get out. Like, not even really to get girls. Let's go bar hop. Like, do young guys go bar hopping anymore? I don't know. And if they do, they're certainly not going to be asking out girls. But in short, because all the data, all the information that men are seeing, hearing, and consuming, whether it's digital or in person or through different environments, is generally, I wouldn't even say negative, but more accurately it shows women just aren't that interested. Then you throw in the lack of testosterone, and then you throw on that, hey, in 5 minutes, you can have fun with the girl in the digital world and then be done with it, and she goes home. I think, yeah, guys aren't going out. And if they are going to meet someone, it's going to be through the safety, the safeguards of social media. And then maybe you go meet in the real world. But otherwise, they are home. And then for your lady friend, you say here, might send this to her if you have any places you recommend women. Look, I'm going to say it again. Maybe not you girls, but generations of women before you have made this situation in this scenario that you currently are facing now. If you are very interested in men, the most quick, direct route is you're going to have to ask them out. I know that's not in your genetic code. I know for most of you that is, it's impossible. You can't do it. If you want to beat your competition, if you want to go out with a guy, the simplest solution is you ask that guy out. Now, there are ways you can do it where you're not asking the guy out. The simplest one is, the dropping of the handkerchief. Make it clear you're talking to him. It was the exception, not the rule. But there were times where I'm like, oh, this girl likes me. It was very obvious. And we went on dates. You don't have to actually ask him out. But a simple rule, get to know him first, see if you like the guy. And then you know what? You say, so when are you going to ask me out on a date? There you go. That's it. Oh, God, I couldn't do it. Well, then I guess you don't get no dates. Oh, the price of Coke went up. Well, I'm not giving you 30. What was it? I'm not giving you no 30 cents. And then the guy says, well, you don't get no Coke. Sorry. This is the reality on the ground. The simplest answer I could give women: if you like a guy, either make it tremendously clear that you're flirting with him and you like him, which, by the way, other women previous to you have also fake flirted with that guy to string him along and laugh at him. That happens to every guy. So now guys aren't even wait. Oh, that's right. You guys remember the time the girl came up and talked to me at a bar? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl? Turned out it was a joke. Turned out I mean it's I'm sorry that women of previous generations have fucking ruined your reputation. I'm sorry. But take it up with them, not with the guys. So, I think a real simple thing would be you can always give them your number. That's a simple thing you can do. But places you want to go and meet guys, all right, cigar lounge, that'd be one place. Ballroom dancing or salsa dancing or swing dancing, country dancing, that's another place. I'm just I really haven't thought about it. I don't care. Because it's kind of like, look, if you're all equal and everything, you'd be asking out guys. All right. We've been hearing you either put up or shut up at this point in time now. I don't care. This is not my problem. I'm only doing this for you, Reen, because she seems like a nice gal. And here's another thing. I mean, all right. For her, are you good looking? All right. Are you a head turner? I'm not saying you gotta be, some kind of Fredericks of Hollywood model, but are you good looking? Will you compel a guy to ask you out? And I'm not saying you got to wear a nightclub dress, but kind of like the gal at Menards in Rapid City. She had a nice dress on. She looked feminine. Another time I was at Cub Foods back at the Twin Cities, and this woman was not my age. I think I was in my 30s at the time, and this woman was 60, 65. I didn't see her front. I saw her back, and she had just a nice blue dress on, and she was in shape. And it caught my eye because of a feminine figure. I'm like, holy shit, look at this gal's dressed. And then she turned around, and I almost didn't notice the gray hair. I'm like, oh, she's an older woman, but god damn, if I was 70, I'd be all over that shit. Yes, it is hard. Yes, you're going to have to dress up a little bit better than average. You'll have to look cute. Otherwise, I don't know, man. I'm tired of giving advice. Like, look, you can ask. Here's my number. You should take me out sometime. That's it. There you go. There's my answer. Go to whiskey tastings. Go to meetup groups that are physically active. I don't know. Go to a running group. Go to a climbing group. Go find a guy. You figure it out. I don't know. I'm kind of done. One gal, I'll tell you this. None of you got the balls for this. Friend of mine of the female persuasion, she moved in to a neighborhood and she was just a little bit down from the fire department. And she's like, fireman. She walks in a 1950s dress. She baked a whole pan of cookies. She walks in. She's like, we're all the firemen. And they're kind of around like, get them up here. And she put her pan of cookies down. She says, all you married fuckers to the back of the line. I think she got a date or two out of that. I'm like, that's what you're going to have to do. Oh my God, agency. You girls might have to do some, heaven forbid. But let's be honest. Here, look, Rena, sweetheart, let me ask you something. Do you really care? I mean, do you really want guys that much? Because if you don't, then give it up. Don't worry about it. Like, would it be nice to have a guy? Yeah, I guess. Well, then, I don't know. If you're too intimidated by asking a guy out or giving a guy your number, then you don't want guys that much. That's okay. Just admit it. If you don't want to get up and be in physical shape, all right, that's cool. Just give it up. But if you really want a guy, the quickest way to do it is to find a guy you think it's cute and ask him on a date. All right, let's go to the super chats. Karen from HR, $2. I could tell you where they won't be going. Okay, good. Bob, $5. I checked the Netherlands divorce rate due to the height average, and the divorce rate is 48%. Being tall is useless in long-term relationship. Marriage is done. It's over. We don't have to talk about it no more. Macam, 156. Tetsuo. 279 Canadian. Nakatomi Plaza was a place to meet girls before 1988. Yeah, there were people having sex and people doing drugs. People were drinking. Good, thank God we put an end to that shit, right, ladies? Deanne, 10 bucks. One thing I could tell you is that church advice is, oh God, no, don't even look, go watch my videos. I have a series called Real Christian Life Dating, Real Christian Dating or some bunch of Christian men sent in their emails about what it was like dating as a Christian. Send them in more. I give them a case number. I also have Real Life Marriage. No, dating, no. In the American Christian Church, no. Just no. We're going to nope out of that. Bob, $5. Most XY who getting some pussy are in a long-term relationship. To get pussy on regular without a relationship, you need to be attractive, 7+ or have a line. Yeah, that's why I say be hot or go home for both the men and the women. All, not some, all romantic and loving relationships are based on lust. And if you don't want to fuck them, you're not going to love them. So let's all hit that gym, boys and girls. You should like me for me. I think I have so much to give. And no, I'm not ready. I'm not going up to your place. And we should go out. We go on a date. And then Becky said to Susie, I don't think Jessica's the right type of person to work with. Third date. No, I don't know. Maybe I could come. Maybe should I go over to your place? I don't know. No, 5 minutes. There's I'm trying to think of an old 90s Nebraska actress. Let me think. Well, who is my favorite? Patricia Ford. There you go. Patricia Ford. Look her up, boys and girls. 5 minutes with me and Patricia. Done. We're out of here. All right. Link to whatever I have linked below. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.